last line of defense. British troops will help build the Polish border wall after Belarus weaponized migrants as millions could come into Europe. Defense Secretary Ben Wallace announced that around 100 soldiers from the Royal Engineers would be sent to help physically reinforce the Polish frontier. The fresh soldiers will be deployed in a matter of weeks, and will be helping with roads and at observation posts. Tens of thousands of people have been trying to cross the border from Belarus in the past weeks as the dictatorship looked to heap pressure on the EU over sanctions imposed over human rights abuses. No EU country has yet unilaterally offered support to Poland, but the UK has pledged to build the border wall as migrants are used as political pawns. Mr. Wallace met with his Polish counterpart Mariusz Błaszczak and agreed to step up Britain's efforts in helping Warsaw, adding that you have to stand together during unconventional warfare. The defense secretary told The Telegraph, "You can't just let your adversary pick you off one by one. Can you imagine going from Iraq, to here, onto a border, not much clothes, not much food, not much money, and then being a pawn in the Belarusian leader's game?" He said he believed Russia would see what this is about and recognize that, Europe and NATO and the West is alert to what's going on. According to the BBC, migrants from the Middle East have been deliberately granted transit visas by Belarus. They are then taken from Minsk airport to its borders with Poland and Lithuania in a bid to wreak chaos and force the EU to lift sanctions. The UK was the first to offer Poland personnel support last week when soldiers were sent to help reinforce the barbed wire fences protecting the EU's external borders. Mateusz Morawiecki, the Polish Prime Minister, said yesterday that millions of asylum seekers from Africa and the Middle East could be heading to Europe. Morawiecki told Bild that if thousands of people could not be stopped from illegally crossing into Poland, now several hundred or thousands or millions would try and force their way over the frontier into EU countries. This comes after Britain's most senior military officer admitted he is worried and we must be on guard over the unfolding threat from Russia in Eastern Europe. General Sir Nick Carter, the chief of the defense staff, warned that the UK must be on our guard over Putin's intentions with Ukraine and unfolding tensions with Belarus. The comments came after it was reported a 600-strong task force of British Special Forces, including SAS commandos and soldiers from the Parachute Regiment, are being prepared to deploy to Ukraine. US officials warned last week that Russia may be plotting an imminent invasion of Ukraine. And meanwhile, Vladimir Putin's regime has been accused of stoking the unfolding migrant crisis between Belarus and Poland. Europe's last dictatorship has been accused of weaponizing migration against the EU, sparking a tense standoff along the Belarusian and Polish border with troops on both sides. Britain is sending military engineers to Poland to help secure the situation. But when BBC host Andrew Marr asked Sir Nick if he was worried it could escalate into something really serious, the general replied yes. On Thursday, Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, blamed the Channel migrant crisis on Europe's open border policy for allowing millions of migrants to freely cross the continent. More than 24,500 migrants have reached the UK by small boats from France so far this year, nearly 3 times the 8,714 in the whole of 2020. Poland has so far rejected the assistance from Frontex, the EU's border agency, and Europol, its law enforcement wing, amid a refusal by the bloc to fund the construction of border fences.